our astounding miracle. Once upon a time, there was nothing. No stars, no planets, no life, not even time itself. Then, in a blinding flash of creation, boom, everything was unleashed. The universe began writing its story with no pen, no paper, and no one around to witness it. Until now. 13.8 billion years after the Big Bang, something astonishing happened. A species emerged, us, capable of joyful music, enduring love, awe and wisdom, evil atrocities, empathy and compassion, incredible miracles, and of course, poetry and literature. But here's what's truly astounding. We have also figured out how to look back in time to when the universe was less than a trillionth of a second old. Let that sink in. We're not just made of stardust, we are stardust, and we know we're made of stardust. And if, just maybe, we're the only sentient beings in the entire Milky Way galaxy right now, then our very existence may be the rarest miracle of all. Thinking, dreaming, questioning, understanding. Humanity carries a sacred duty to comprehend this staggering universe, to honor our rare gift of cosmic consciousness, and to preserve this fragile spark of awareness before our entire legacy completely disappears. It's not enough to simply understand the stars. We must truly become worthy of them. And that, to me, is our most astounding miracle. Thank you. Okay, we're doing Daring Aviation and Space Pioneers today. How exciting is that? Yeah, and I realized just this morning, out of my 8 talks, this one's my favorite. No, forget black holes, aliens, time travel. Look, today we're going to outer space. You can't beat that. Okay, but those of you that know me, I mentioned that I'm from Toronto. Here's a beautiful day and night image of our Toronto City Hall. And I'm showing you this because a little while ago there was a Star Trek episode with Worf, of course, the Klingon, and he was looking through something called the Iconian portal, which is this thing on the right-hand side here. And this portal's so powerful, it could look billions of light years to the far side of the universe. And guess what? When he looked through the Iconian portal, look what he saw. Yeah, so now we're aliens in Toronto. The Toronto City Hall. In breaking news on the space exploration side, the Chinese have done the first biological growth experiment on the moon. They planted potatoes and cotton seeds and different things like that. And guess what? A short time later, the cotton seeds sprouted on the moon. So we literally have the makings of the first farm on the moon. All right. Now, mind you, the moon gets a couple of hundred degrees above zero, then a couple of hundred degrees below zero. So, of course, this stuff died pretty quickly, but it's a start. The big news in space exploration these days, of course, is the Artemis missions. We are going back to the moon in our lifetimes, and this is the most recent Artemis crew. These are the folks that are going to go around the far side of the moon, which hasn't been done in 50 or so years. They're not going to walk on the moon, this crew. That's going to be the Artemis crew after them. But look at this. We got 3 U.S. NASA astronauts. We've got 1 Canadian, Jeremy Hansen, the first African-American that's going to go to the far side of the moon, the first woman that's going to go to the far side of the moon. Just amazing firsts, and we are so excited about this. In fact, a few months ago, I had the pleasure of spending a few hours with Jeremy Hansen. We were giving some special awards to science students at different universities. Just an amazing, amazing person. I can see why these astronauts are chosen. They are really, really special. And guess what? I have my boarding pass. My name is actually going to the far side of the moon next year. But get your cameras ready, because it's not because I'm special and it's not because I know Jeremy Hansen, but NASA has this program called Send Your Name Around the Moon. And if you or your grandchildren want to send your name around the moon, we want to get kids excited about astronomy and space exploration, go to this website, go.nasa.gov/Artemis names, put your name in there, and you will get your free boarding pass. If you didn't catch this picture in time, just see me later and I'll give you the address again. Yes, I am not a space explorer. I've never been to space, but I am a skydiver. In fact, I've jumped out of a perfectly good airplane 35 times. Would you like to see what it's like to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Let's take a look at what that might look like. Here we go. Yeah, he's cheering because his parachute opened. My parachute, on the other hand, opened every time except once. But that's a story for another day. But I am here to tell the tale. We're going to cover today the humankind's urge to fly, skydiving. We're going to talk about humans taking flight and the journey that we took over the years in history. And we're even going to hang out on the International Space Station to see what it's like living as a space explorer on the ISS. But we have to start with our historical journey to the skies. When did that start? By who? Yes, of course, it was the Wright brothers, and here they are, first flight. And look, we complain about flights, don't we? Oh, the food was not good, whatever. But look at him. He had to fly on the wing of the airplane. Okay, but what I love about this picture is that every day his brother would come to work in a suit in the dusty fields trying to fly this plane. I kind of like that. And we've come from there to flying a helicopter on the surface of Mars in a few decades. Just an amazing achievement. And now NASA is looking at other missions to fly helicopters on other planets and moons, possibly in our solar system. And then you've got, how about these US Navy Blue Angels planes flying 18 inches apart from each other? That's pretty good. But why do you even need an airplane when you could just strap the wings right onto your back and fly that way? Or how about this? Let's just do skydiving indoors as they're doing here in Abu Dhabi, UAE. What's happening is under the floor here, they're shooting air up into the air at 130 miles an hour to let us do something like this. Don't even have to jump out of a plane to do skydiving. Just amazing. But this fellow here, Uli Emanuel from Italy, he skydives, but he does something called base jumping, where he jumps off of mountain cliffs and buildings and stuff like that. He's literally going to fly down the side of a mountain and fly right through a 7-foot opening in the mountain. Let's see if he can make it with his wingsuit on that lets him control the direction of his flight. Here it is. He's going to go right through that opening in the mountain right there. Actually, Holland America has this excursion tomorrow if anyone's interested. Got it going on for you in Mexico. He made it. Okay, but the best thing, we should go with flying scooters. Let's let Hollywood tell us how to do a flying scooter. Of course, the Back to the Future movie.
Hey, stop. Little girl, stop. Look, I need to borrow your hoverboard. Where is he? Here. There! He's on a hoverboard! Get it, boy! Get him!
Yeah, we got him!
All right. So how many years will it be before humans invent a real flying hovercraft? Yell it out. How many years? 7 years. 4. 0. Yes, we've already done it. French inventor Frankie Zapata successfully crossed the English Channel on a jet-powered hoverboard. Let's take a look at what that might look like.
Roll with me, she attend at least. Cream of the crop, top quality. Not your team or cop could try stopping me. Says I lays it down properly. You and your crew, get off my property. I own everything, I'm on everything. Highs on that top spot, no settling. Married to the game, no wedding ring. Flipping through this paper, call it magazine. More problems, that's really what all of this brings. Well, I'm ready for a champ, put me in the ring.
Amazing. But the best thing would be to have flying cars, right? So let's take a look at Back to the Future. Did it best, I think. Okay, how many years before we're going to have real flying cars? Yell it out. 0. That's right. We're already doing it. We've already got flying cars, like this one here, the air car. And of course, after flying around for a bit, come back to planet Earth and drive around as a car. There we go. We have landed safely. Okay, the flying car market apparently is going to be worth $1.5 trillion by 2040. Let's see if that happens. But now we're going to actually travel to outer space. And of course, to do that, we're going to need a rocket ship. Something that looks like this one. Beautiful image of a rocket ship taking off. But let's take a look at the actual video of it happening.
Start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
Wow, this is like lifting 15 African elephants off the ground, and to do that you need 15 million horsepower, which is what these rocket ships have. Just amazing. And of course they'll then break through the sound barrier and then travel around in orbit after that. But let's hear directly from Dr. Dave Williams, a Canadian astronaut, who talks about what it's actually like to go up in a rocket ship at launch, the most exciting part of the launch.
Driving down a dirt road, at 40 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, still bouncing around, everything's shaking. And then after the solid rocket boosters separate around 2 minutes into the flight, then all of a sudden it's really smooth. It's like going from the dirt road onto a paved highway, and the remainder of the ride to space is really smooth but the G forces build up in that last minute or so, 2 minutes before main engine cutoff. You feel almost 3 times the force of gravity. It's like an elephant sitting on your chest. Hard to take a deep breath. I remember my arm fell down to one side. I had to literally pick it up and pull it back to be able to get it back in front of me. And that really is the most dramatic part of the whole ride to space. And as soon as the main engine's cut off, you're thrown forward against your harness, and your arms are floating up freely. The checklists are floating freely in front of you. Truly the ride of a lifetime.
Thank you, Dr. Dave. Okay, International Space Station, most expensive object ever built, $150 billion. What teamwork, amazing teamwork from countries around the world, USA, Canada, Europe, and various countries around the world. How was it built? It was kind of built like a Lego set, just bringing up each one piece at a time. Luckily, all the pieces fit together as they were in space putting it together. There's the solar panels for power, of course. The Canadians created something called the Canada Arm, which is this arm here to help ferry astronauts and payloads around. And now we're going to talk about the top 20 reasons why you should want to become an astronaut and work on the ISS when you grow up. Are you ready? Okay, let's see if we can do it. Reason number 20, weightlessness is actually really cool. Let's take a look. Look, he's got his fidget spinner here. He doesn't even have to hold it. It's just floating in midair, back and forward. And here's a bunch of astronauts chasing around some fruit. But it's not all fun and games, because sometimes you have a bad day, as NASA astronaut Marcia Ivins found out when she had a bad hair day. Okay, reason number 19, lots of time to have fun. There's Jack Fisher blowing some bubbles into his water bottle. Ah, if his mom could see him now. Can you outsmart a 9th grader? Now that you have seen all of these guys flying around in microgravity, what the microgravity on the ISS is what percentage of the gravity here on Earth? Everyone has to answer. Raise your hand for 90%. No hands on that one. How about 1%? Lots of hands there. How about 0%? Okay, so about 50-50 for 1 or 0. Guess what? The answer is 90%. Yes. Well, how's that possible, Tom? I just saw them floating around. There was no gravity. Yes, there is gravity, but them and the spaceship are trying to crash back down to Earth, and they just happen to be going at the same speed as the spaceship. And here's the Earth here. The spaceship's trying to crash into Earth, but it's on an orbital trajectory, so it keeps missing the Earth. It misses the Earth and it comes back around again. Then it tries to fall down again and misses again. But guess what? Every few months it does get closer and closer to the Earth, so they have to boost it back up again to keep a stable orbit where it's going to stay up there. Reason number 18, free pedicures. A lot of people don't realize this. You go up on the International Space Station for a year, you haven't used your feet for a year, so guess what? The calluses on the bottom of your feet literally fall right off. So they're soft as a baby's bum, you know. Or how about this? A well-stocked refrigerator. Not. All they get is canned, packaged, and dehydrated foods. Let's have a meal with Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield.
To prepare the spinach, you just attach it to the water distributor, choose the right quantity, and push the button. And it's like magic. Dried spinach and spinach ready to eat.
Thank you, Chris. A great gym. Yeah, they have to work out vigorously for 2 hours every single day. Otherwise, their bones and muscles are literally going to waste away. Reason number 14, international friendships from Canada, the US, Russia, all sharing meals together. A great supply of drinking water. What they forget to tell you, though, it's just recycled sweat and urine from the other astronauts. They keep having different missions to go up and restock the ISS. Why don't they just bring a whole bunch of more water every time they go up? The weight, because it used to cost to bring one bottle of water like this, it used to cost about $50,000 to bring that up to the ISS. Now with recyclable rockets, it's down to, I think, $1,000 or $2,000, but it's still quite expensive to get restocked on the ISS. Free haircuts, look at this. A Russian cosmonaut giving a haircut to an American, and of course you have to have your vacuum hose to vacuum up the hair, otherwise the hair is going to go all over the ISS. Repair work experience like this NASA astronaut here that went up to repair the Hubble Space Telescope, an astronaut by the name of Jeff Hoffman. He went up there twice and saved the Hubble telescope because it had some problems when we first put it up there. And here he is doing the repair work, and it's just amazing because he would tell stories about how one time after he replaced the module, he tried to close the huge metal door to close it up. He did the latch on the bottom, then he went up to do the latch at the top, and it was 6 inches away, and he couldn't push it closed, threatening the entire Hubble telescope, because when that thing goes from 200 degrees above to 200 degrees below, the whole thing got warped, right? So he's freaking out. He's calling Houston. He undid the latch at the bottom. He did the one at the top. He went to the bottom. That one's 5 inches apart. Houston cannot come up with a solution to this problem. And finally, the story he told us was how he did one of the brackets up, and then at the bottom he had some type of a ratchet system that he attached to the Hubble telescope. He ratcheted it in, closed it up, did the buckle up, and saved the Hubble telescope. Just amazing. And the really cool news, right on the Zandam a year and a half ago when we had the total solar eclipse, he was with us, so we got to have a few dinners up at the Pinnacle Grill with himself, Jeffrey Hoffman, and Garrett Reisman, who has been up to space 5 times. Just amazing heroes in my eyes. Reason number 10, no beds to make. Yeah, you just get in the sleeping bag, Velcro yourself to the wall, and you're fine. Number 9, lots of adventure, but yeah, I sure hope you can overcome your fear of heights. This is an astronaut doing a spacewalk. Both him and the ISS are traveling 10 times faster than a speeding bullet, so I hope he buckles himself down to the ISS. Otherwise, if he gets separated from it, he could be lost in space forever. And of course, that's what he did right there, buckling himself in, and look at that beautiful view of Earth below. Reason number 7, learn all about teamwork with astronauts from different countries around the world. And if you get promoted, you can go to exotic travel destinations like the moon, like Buzz Aldrin got to do back in 1969. You grow taller. A lot of people don't realize you hang out on the ISS for 6 months, you grow 2 inches taller. Yeah, you lose it again when you come back to Earth. So let's hear what it's like to do a cool science experiment with Chris Hadfield.
Here's a common question. Can you cry in space? Do tears work? Well, let's try it out. I can't cry on command, but I'm going to take some water, drinking water, put it in my eye just as if I was crying. Let's see what happens. Get myself nice and stable for you here. Here we go. So, just as if I started crying, my eye is full of tears. But you can see it just forms a ball on my eye. In fact, I can put more water in. And so if you keep crying, you just end up with a bigger and bigger ball of water in your eye. Until eventually it crosses across your nose and gets into your other eye, or evaporates, or maybe spreads over your cheek, or you grab a towel and dry it up. So yes, I've gotten things in my eye. Your eyes will definitely cry in space, but the big difference is tears don't fall. So grab a hanky.
Thank you, Chris. Look at this, free rides on the Canadarm, as we can see this astronaut flying around at the end of the arm there. It has a great view, a 360-degree bay window where you could look down at planet Earth below and see amazing views like this one, this erupting volcano in Japan. And a few years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting Roberta Bondar, another Canadian astronaut who flew around Earth several times. And she was telling me a story that I wanted to share with you because she said every time she would orbit around Earth, she would literally see 40 to 60 active volcanoes at any one time. It's like the Earth is this living, breathing thing. And we don't get to see this perspective, living on the surface. But of course, she got to see that orbiting around Earth. Reason number one, you get to fly around the entire planet Earth every 90 minutes. Let's see what it would be like to do that. What are those bright lights? Yeah, those are city lights, of course. What are these flashes? Yes, of course, those are lightning storms. The faint glow of Earth's atmosphere. And here we have a sunrise and sunset. We get a sunrise every 90 minutes. Here comes one on the left-hand side. Here we are going south in Florida. Look how brightly lit Miami is. Here we are going south in Europe. Look how brightly lit Italy's boot is. And you're about to see the West Bank in Israel and the Nile River. Look how brightly lit the Nile River is and the West Bank. And of course, you get to see the northern lights, but from above instead of from below. Just an amazing experience. Okay, advances in space exploration. One of the biggest advances we've had, of course, is reusable rockets to lower the price. Because imagine, every other time we've had rocket ships over decades, every time you would use it, you would throw it away. Imagine if you had to do a flight from New York to Paris, and every time they got to Paris, they threw the plane away, right? Imagine how expensive flying would be. Well, let's take a look at the history of reusable rockets.
Hey, come on, keep it straight. Keep it straight, 3 meters per second. Gotta kill that lateral velocity. Come on, get down. No. Okay, right, go back. No, never mind. Yes, and the whole thing goes.
Oh, darn it. But SpaceX has made amazing achievements over the years. The top two images here are looking at their rocket ships doing a double landing, and this is the view from the rocket ship.
Both boosters looking to be on track towards their respective landing zones.
Landing zones have started. Star boosters landing legs are deployed.
Just an amazing achievement. What human-made object got sent up to orbit towards Mars a few years ago? Anyone remember what that was? Yes, it was Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster that got sent out to space. And yes, it's actually orbiting around the sun. Here is a speeded-up time-lapse video, a camera that was mounted on the front of the car. And Elon has quite a sense of humor there. It says, "Don't panic." And Spaceman here is driving the thing. And yes, another sense of humor, he's playing on repeat David Bowie's song Space Oddity. So Spaceman here has listened to it about 300,000 times now. Just amazing. A couple of years ago, it was out beyond the orbit of Mars, and now it's coming back in closer to Earth and the sun. Are you guys ready for going into the wormhole in the center of a black hole? Okay, if I could get my cameraman to adjust me being in front of the stage here, we're going to have a little fun with this. And let's see, we got to randomly choose someone from the audience to help me with this. So can you throw this somewhere up in the air behind you? because the third person that catches it is going to come and volunteer to come up with. Oh! Okay, there's one. She is sorry. Please try and throw it straight up. There we go. Okay, let's do one more now. Throw it really nice and high. The next person that catches it has to come up here. And it can be two people as well if it's a couple, but throw it nice and high. If you don't want to come up here, don't catch it. Nice and high. Okay, we're now going to see who's going to grab it. Oh, I think we might have a volunteer. Come on, grab it. All right. We have a volunteer. How about a big hand for our volunteer? Come on up to the front here. Come on up to the front here. And I have a microphone. Test, test. Okay, put down your phone somewhere and your pen. I'll take this back. And please just tell everyone your first name and where you're from.
Mike, San Diego.
Mike from San Diego. All right, thank you too, Mike. Let's just get you standing a little closer right to there. And we're going to do some amazing Vassos mind meld today. I'm hoping you have reached the pinnacle of the Vassos mind meld. Sorry, what was your first name again?
Mike.
Mike. Okay, so Mike, I hope you've reached the pinnacle. Did you get the red hammer before? No. Did you get gray elephants in Denmark? Okay, he got that. We have hope. Okay, because we're going to test your skill. You have to have reached the Jedi level of the Vassos mind meld. Do you think you can do it? Okay, so here goes. Here's what we're going to do. From now on, we're going to try to do this. You and I are not going to make eye contact. You're not going to see me mouthing anything like that. I'm just going to write some stuff down here. Mike, I need you to focus on the back of my head there because we're now going to do the Vassos mind meld. And right now, I'm writing down a number. I want you to start thinking about numbers. You don't have to decide just yet. And now I want you to look at the back of my head. I'm now writing down a color. Okay. And now, Mike, I am writing down an animal. Okay, now he can't see this, of course. And so I need you to shut your eyes, Mike. And the first thing I want you to do is just pick animals out in the wild. Just picture what they might look like and picture their color. And while you have your eyes shut, I need you to literally count how many of that animal you're seeing in that herd. And if it's too high a number to count, just give me a rough estimate. Okay. Actually, I'm actually really nervous here. This is the first time I've done this in public, so I don't know if it's going to work. I'm just going to hide this for a second. I'm literally sweating here. I'm just going to take my jacket off for a second. I'm going to take my jacket off. And Mike, at the count of 3, I'm going to get you. You have to name first the number, the color, and the animal. Yell it out nice and loud if you got it. Go ahead.
The color.
Open your eyes.
Okay.
Open your eyes now. And now, I sure hope you have reached Jedi level of Vassos mind meld. I now need you to yell out the number, color, and animal. Go.
32 pink lions?
All right, not bad. He was close. How about a big hand for Mike? That was amazing, Mike. Congratulations. Thank you so much. You were great. You were off by 300, though. It was 321. Oh, he says my hair was covering the one. Okay, congratulations to Mike as our volunteer. Thank you very much. Okay, the key message there, guys, is you can always trust a scientist, but never trust a magician. Okay, and that is our 321 pink lions, or 32 lions, according to Mike. Okay, we're going to play a game of USSR versus USA. We want to talk about space exploration firsts to see whether it was the USSR or USA that did certain things first. Which country first flew a satellite into Earth's orbit? Yell it out. Yes, what was it called? Yes, of course, it was the Sputnik. And when this thing was flying around Earth, it freaked everyone out, didn't it? What do they got up there, and is there a nuclear bomb in it? Everyone was quite worried about it. And that was the Sputnik. Who was first to reach space? Yell out his name. Yuri Gagarin. No, it was Albert the monkey. Yes, Albert, he went up in this US V2 rocket. But I'm not going to count this one because this was just a suborbital flight. It didn't rotate around Earth. So now we're going to answer the real question. Who was first to achieve orbit around Earth? Yell it out. Yuri Gagarin. No, it was Laika the dog. Yes, it was Laika the dog. He was a stray dog on the streets of Moscow, and the Russian Space Agency got him to volunteer to go up into space in 1957, and I am a dog lover, so I cannot tell you the ending of this story. It was very sad, but the good news is Laika became a hero throughout the USSR. They have a statue after him. He's got all kinds of stamps after him because he was the first to go out into space. And there were two other dogs that went up in orbit as well, and they were called Belka and Strelka. And they were kind of cute dogs. The USSR did this as well. And they were joined by a gray rabbit, 42 mice, 2 rats, and some flies. Okay? And they got famous too. There's some wall graffiti in the Ukraine. They got stamps named after them. And they became closet capitalists because now you can buy Belka and Strelka t-shirts. You can buy Belka and Strelka porcelain dogs. You can buy Belka and Strelka porcelain spaceship decanters. But I know they have made it to the top of the pyramid because now you can buy Belka and Strelka vodka. Whatever happened to Strelka and his family? Well, they had a very happy life. This was the happy ending. They had lots of puppies. This one was called Pushinka. And at the time Pushinka was born, Khrushchev was actually the premier of the USSR. And as it turns out, he was actually on good terms with President Kennedy. And he actually knew that Kennedy was a dog lover. Here's Kennedy at Christmas with one of his dogs, Charlie. And so he knew that. So guess what? Khrushchev gave Pushinka to Kennedy and sent him across the ocean. And of course, Kennedy immediately changed the name from Pushinka to Fluffy. But Fluffy and Charlie went on to have a family and live happily ever after. And that's the happy end of that story. Which country first flew a human in orbit, and who was it? Yell it out. Yes, now we've got Yuri Gagarin in 1961. Which country conducted the first spacewalk? Yell it out. USA? No, it was USSR again. Alexei Leonov, and he was actually attached to a 5-meter tether, and he ventured outside the spacecraft for 12 minutes. But the story around this one, when he tried to get back into the spaceship, his space suit had ballooned up. He could not fit back into the spaceship. True story. He could not fit back in the spaceship, but being a quick thinker, they had this little release valve on the spacesuit. He opened it up a little bit, let the air out, and got safely back into the spaceship. So luckily, he made it alive. Who conducted America's first spacewalk? It was Edward White. Let's take a look at this achievement.
We cleared him to go, and then he took and pushed off from the seat.
Getting my feet out. I think I'm dragging a little bit, so I don't want to fire the gun yet. Okay, I'm separating from the spacecraft.
Ed White is flying at 17,000 miles per hour, 200 miles above the Earth.
Okay, I'm out.
If the spacesuit fails, the difference in pressure will kill him instantly. If the lifeline fails, he'll literally be lost in space.
The only thing to do would be to disconnect them and let them float around out there. I mean, it was, these are things that's in everybody's mind. We don't have a plan. We don't have a checklist on how you kill your best friend.
As White floats in space, a glove drifts out of the capsule.
Looks like a thermal glove, Jim.
I don't even know whose glove it was. I don't know whether it was his or mine.
I feel like $1 million.
Today, those pictures are a classic. They're still overpowering today to realize, number one, it's been done, and that we did it.
Amazing. Who conducted the first successful untethered spacewalk? Okay, NASA astronaut Bruce McCandless. Let's take a look.
The Manned Maneuvering Unit is a personal spacecraft. It enables an astronaut to fly out in space with no lifeline back to the spacecraft. Early concepts preceding the Manned Maneuvering Unit included Buck Rogers flying in space. This Manned Maneuvering Unit was developed to enable astronauts to do tasks outside the space shuttle, in particular to fly out and retrieve a satellite that needed to be brought back in for repairs or even returned to Earth.
Just an amazing achievement. And look at this picture. Being a football field away from the spaceship, and if that Manned Maneuvering Unit failed, he would be lost in space forever. And this is Bruce McCandless here, and I love this quote from him. It says, it may have been one small step for Neil, but it's a heck of a big leap for me. Who was the first female astronaut? Which country? Yes, that was Valentina Tereshkova, a pilot, cosmonaut, and skydiver from Russia. Amazing, 48 times around the Earth over 3 days, still the only woman to have ever done a solo mission in space like that. Which country first landed on the moon with a remote-controlled rover? You know how much the Americans love their cars. Let's see if you can get this one right. Raise your hand for USSR. 2 hands. Raise your hand for USA. 95% wrong. No, it was the US. Yes, they landed their Lunokhod 1 in 1970 before anyone else was able to do it. Which country first flew around the far side of the moon? Yell it out. No, USSR. Yeah, because they were first going around the far side, they get to name stuff. And as you can see here, this amazing thing here is actually named Mare Moscoviense, or the Sea of Moscow, which of course they got to name because they were the first around the far side. Which country first landed a human on the moon? Yell it out. USA. No, that's a conspiracy. It wasn't either of these countries. In fact, I have video evidence of which country actually landed on the moon first. Let's take a look.
For the first time ever, the United States has become the first nation to walk on the moon.
Houston, I'm just gonna try and get this golf ball. Huh?
Uh-oh. Ottawa, we have a problem here.
I am Canadian!
Sorry about that, eh?
Okay, fine, it was the USA. How about a big hand for the USA? An amazing scientific achievement, the Apollo missions over 50 years ago, and we are finally going back. It is so exciting. But the Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle that landed, and of course it was the famous speech by Kennedy that really incited NASA and the whole NASA community to rally around getting it done in that decade. By the way, a lot of people don't realize at the time that they did this, NASA's budget was 4.5% of the entire GDP of the USA. Now it's 0.5%. Okay, so that's how far they've come. But let's actually listen in to the speech.
Will go ahead, and it is one of the great adventures of all time. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. For we meet in an hour of change, in a decade of hope, in an age of knowledge. Even though I realize that this is, in some measure, an act of faith and vision, for we do not now know what benefits await us. But if I were to say, my fellow citizens, that we shall send to the moon, 240,000 miles away, a giant rocket carrying all the equipment needed for survival on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, and do all this and do it right before this decade is out, then we must be bold. The exploration of space will go ahead, and it is one of the great adventures of all time.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Of space will go ahead, and it is one of the great adventures of all time.
Thank you, Kennedy. Here we are, Neil Armstrong, on the surface on the Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle at Tranquility Base. Okay, quiz question for you. How many humans have actually walked on the moon? You have to vote for one of these three things. Let's see how you do. Raise your hand if the answer is 1 mission, 2 astronauts. Okay, just a couple of hands there. How about 3 missions, 6 astronauts? Okay, lots of hands there. And 6 missions, 12 astronauts. Okay, I got about 50-50 on B and C. The answer is actually C. A lot of people don't realize all the way up to Apollo 17, we were actually landing on the moon with astronauts. So when people keep saying, well, why didn't we go back to the moon? We did go back to the moon 5 other times. We got several hundred pounds of rocks, moon rocks that got back to Earth. They achieved all their objectives and missions. They didn't need to spend several billion more dollars because they had achieved what they wanted to at that time. And that is it for Daring Aviation and Space Pioneers. How did you like that?